Okay, so today we're going to tackle one of the most nerve-wracking conversations you can possibly have. That moment of friendship is right on the edge of becoming something more. We're going to dive in and decode that exact conversation.
I mean, have you? It's a question just loaded with risk, hope, and let's be honest, a ton of anxiety. You have this amazing friendship, but you can't stop thinking, what if? The choice to actually say something, to risk it all, that's a universal human drama right there.
And what's really fascinating is that this huge, high-stakes conversation, it kind of follows an unspoken script. There are these little cues and phrases that people use to navigate these super tricky emotional waters. So that's what we're here to do, translate that script for you.
Yeah, this is it, the crossroads moment. It's that feeling, that anxiety of just not knowing which path to take, and what you might lose forever if you choose the wrong one.
So, to really get this, let's paint a picture. Imagine two friends, we'll call one of them Jennifer, and they're out for what seems like just a normal dinner. But her friend has picked a quiet spot, it's just the two of them. That atmosphere alone, that's your first clue that this is not a regular catch-up. Something big is about to happen.
So how does this whole thing even start? Well, it turns out there's this kind of toolkit of phrases people often grab when they're trying to signal what they want and, test the waters. We are going to break down 5 of the most crucial ones.
And you know what? It often kicks off with something super simple. Just like this. Here's the thing. Those 3 little words, they're basically a verbal drum roll. They signal that a huge shift in the conversation is about to happen.
Because what's so interesting is how this phrase actually works. Here's the thing, is a classic pivot. It's telling the other person, okay, listen up, we're shifting gears from casual chat to something really important right now. It's pretty much the official start of the talk. All right, next up, the emotional stakes get cranked way up with a phrase that shows total desperation. I can't take it anymore. This is a really powerful statement that says the way things are right now, it's just not working anymore. Because, and this is so important, this isn't just about being frustrated. It's communicating that the speaker is at their emotional breaking point. They literally can't just be friends anymore because the feelings are too intense. The status quo has got to go. Okay, so after the urgency, you get this moment of pure vulnerability. This phrase admits to being afraid in the past, but saying it right now, that's an act of courage. It's about putting all your cards on the table. No games, just honesty. And this is a perfect example of how powerful informal language can be. Guts is just a simple word for courage, right? But saying, I never had the guts, feels so much more raw and real than something formal like I was never brave enough. It's an admission that just instantly builds trust. And here it is, the big moment, the actual ask. But really pay attention to how it's phrased. It's not some heavy demand or a formal proposal. It's an invitation, and it's framed as a simple question. Using the phrase, give me a shot, is just a masterful move to lower the pressure when things are super tense. It frames the whole thing as a low-risk experiment. Hey, just one chance, one opportunity. It makes it so much easier for the other person to consider saying yes without feeling like they're signing a lifelong contract right there on the spot. Okay, so what about Jennifer's side of things? Faced with this huge confession, she might say something like this. Now, this isn't a no, but it's not an immediate yes either. It's a way of recognizing all the history they have together. This is such a fantastic idiom for managing expectations. Change that overnight really acknowledges how deep and complicated their friendship is. It basically says, look, what we have is a big deal, and turning that into something new, that's a process. It's not going to happen in a flash. It's just a really wise, thoughtful response. But hold on, because these phrases, as important as they are, they're really just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. We have to zoom out and look at the bigger picture, because this whole idea of having a formal talk isn't a universal thing at all. So you've got 2 basic approaches here. On one side, you've got this organic transition, which is really common in a lot of English-speaking cultures. A friendship just sort of slowly and subtly drifts into a romance without any big defining conversation. But on the other side, you've got traditions where a formal talk is absolutely essential to go steady and make things official. Getting that difference is so key to not having huge misunderstandings. So after all that, what are we supposed to take away from this? Well, it's that these emotional transitions, they're deeply personal, yeah, but they're also navigated with a shared language. And if you understand these phrases, it's like having a map to read the signs, whether you're the one saying them or the one hearing them.
All right, let's do a quick recap of that high-stakes toolkit. It kicks off with "here's the thing" to open the door. Then, "I can't take it anymore" shows the urgency. You get that raw honesty with "I never had the guts," which leads right into the informal ask, "give me a shot." And then, a thoughtful response, "you can't change that overnight," respects all that shared history. Each phrase really is a step in a very, very delicate dance.
And that brings me to one last thing for you to think about. In our world of DMs and texts and emojis, where we communicate so much without actually talking, does a direct, face-to-face conversation like this become more important or less? It's definitely something to chew on.